So we know that God said he's going to destroy them by a brutish people who are skillful at destroying. I don't know anybody else who can think of more ways to kill somebody than, who our enemies are in this country. But let's see what the Ammonites did so bad that caused them to be punished by another group of people. It says, the whole thing is in Ezekiel 25, 1 through 7, but I'm just going to read 2 through 6 because that focuses on their sins. It says, Son of man, set thy face against the Ammonites and prophesy against them. Verse 6, For thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast clapped thine hands and stomped with thy feet and rejoiced in the heart with all thy despite against the land of Israel, behold, therefore I will stretch out my hand upon thee and will deliver thee for a spoil to the heathen. Now, we already know that the people who have captured us in this land are heathens by definition, and I will cut thee off from the people, and I will cause thee to perish out of the country. So the Native Americans were found in other countries, right? I will destroy thee, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord God. So that's one prophecy on a group of people who were destroyed by possibly the Europeans, okay? And we know that the Indians were destroyed by the Europeans in the exact same manner that God said, in their land, okay, and by just skillful destruction. Okay, so let's look at the Ethiopians right now. Today, in 2016, there are people who call themselves Ethiopians. I don't know if they're the original Ethiopians in the Bible, but they have the name, so let's look at them and see how they could possibly be affected by this prophecy. Second Chronicles, I'll start at verse 12 so you understand what's going on. And it came to pass when Rehoboam had established the kingdom and had strengthened himself, he forsook the law of the God. And it came to pass that in the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak king of Egypt came up against Jerusalem. And then with 1,200 chariots and 3,000 horsemen, the people were without number that came with him out of Egypt. And then it lists the people, the Lubims, the Sikims, and the Ethiopians. So the Ethiopians decided to come fight against the Israelites with the Egyptians. So that's their sin. Okay, so then after that king, another king came, King Asa, and he did that which was right in the eyes of the Lord. So now God didn't punish the Ethiopians. Well, I'm not going to get into that story, but now the Israelites are doing the right thing. They're being protected by God, and he's pleased with them. And here comes the Ethiopian to start trouble. Let's go down to it says verse 9. It says, And there came out against them Zerah the Ethiopian with a host of 1,000 and 300 chariots, and came unto Marisha. So basically what happened before that was the Israelites were like, let's build ourselves cities. Let's, make us walls and towers and gates and bars, and let's protect ourselves and make a really nice land. And the Ethiopians were jealous, and they came to dismantle that. Okay. So that has always been the case with us and other nations. They have been jealous. They have been, want revenge because God kicked them out of the land, and that has nothing to do with us. They got kicked out because of their own sins. So you have Damascus, who came up to fight against us, and Israel went and followed their gods. Okay, so that's one sin on Damascus. You have the Moabites, who boasted themselves against the Israelites, were proud that they got into captivity and they took their land. Okay, so you have those people who needed to be punished. And then you have the Ammonites, who the Most High said, they were joyful when the Israelites got sent into captivity. They were all for it. So the Most High said, you think you're going to be boasting against his people? Okay, well, let me show you what's going to happen. And he sent out a destructive nation to destroy them in their own land. Okay, so there are other nations who are punished, and he doesn't go into great detail about them because the book is not about the Israelites, but he does let you know, why they're being punished. I didn't finish with the punishment of the Ethiopians. So Isaiah 20 verse 4 says, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. And there's other verses about what they did, but I'm just going to go straight to where God says he's going to punish them. Zephaniah 2 verse 12, ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword. Okay, so now what does this all have to do with white people and them punishing all the other nations? Okay, well, let's go to the beginning where Esau is introduced. He sold his birthright, and God was angry at him for that, and now his father is about to pass away, and it's custom to bless your children and leave their inheritance. So here's Esau coming to his father for a blessing, and I'm going to start at just verses 39 and 40. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Okay, so the prophecy is that he's going to have the fatness of the earth. That means the most of the land. Who in this earth today in 2016 has the majority of the land of the earth? Who owns it? Europeans. They've conquered and stolen lands all over the earth, right? So that fits the prophecy of the fatness of the earth. And it says they will do it, they will live by the sword. It says dew of heaven, and the sword shalt thou live by. So the sword is any type of weapon. Okay, they didn't get it by purchasing these lands from the people. They did it by death. Okay, so that is the prophecy of how, who is the Esau. There's many others, but that's the very first one that gives you a very clear description of who the people are who's going to do this. Now, if God is going to punish everybody, he don't have to do it by miraculous events like tornadoes here and sinkholes here. He can just do it by sending another nation to destroy you. Now, in order for the prophecy of Esau to be fulfilled, he has to actually do the killing, right? Doesn't he have to go around killing everybody with the sword? So that is how he fulfilled that prophecy about Esau killing with the sword, and he also fulfilled his prophecies by killing and punishing other nations because of their sins towards him and the Israelites. So why wouldn't he just use the white people who he already said are going to kill by the sword? Okay, now everything that you need to know about life and why things are happening, is in the book. Like, I, as a black person, believe that I'm an Israelite because of the prophecies that are being fulfilled. It has nothing to do with just following because God said to believe in him. It has everything to do with his laws that are right. I believe in his laws, and I believe that that's the best way to live in the land, by following those laws. So that's one reason why I follow it. And two, the prophecy. If he said all these things was going to happen and then none of them happened, then that means he would be a liar and there would be no reason to follow him, right? So I totally understand Cynthia's point of not believing the Bible if you focus on the New Testament, because there's no hope for you. There's no benefit of the New Testament for us. It gives the ability of evil people to do sin and then just magically not be punished because they believe in a man, but the Old Testament does not do that. It tells you clearly that you have to do something in order to be saved from the punishment that he's going to give you for your own behavior. Okay, now this will be the last verses that I read, and I'm just going to show you how God already said what he wrote down is going to happen. And the reason why he wrote it down is so that you can't say, well, I knew this was going to happen and this happened because I predicted it. So I'm going to go to Isaiah 48 verses 1, 3. It's verse 1, 3 through 8. Isaiah 48. Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah, which swear by the name of the Lord, and make mention of the God of Israel, but not in truth nor in righteousness. So he's talking to the Israelites. I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them, I did them suddenly, and they came to pass. So God did them, and it happened, okay? If you look up the prophecy of Egypt, you will see that the reason why it's a wasteland now. Everyone can admit that Egypt was the ruler of the world. They had their pyramids all over the world. They were mighty and very smart people. But look at them now. Nobody's rushing to go move to Egypt because there's nothing in Egypt, okay? Continuing, it says, because I knew that thou art obstinate, and thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow brass, I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came to pass, I showed it thee, lest thou shouldest say, mine idol hath done it, and my graven image and my molten image have commanded them. So he already showed us and had this out printed before we could say, oh no, JC did this for me, you know, my statue, my cross did this for me, my Allah did this for me. You know what I'm saying? He don't want you to give credit to nobody, because you can't give credit to somebody else if it's already been written by somebody else. I can't give credit to JC for the things that the Old Testament already said would happen. Thou hast heard, see all this, and will not ye declare it? I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. They are created now and not from the beginning. Okay, so things have happening now that didn't happen in the beginning. Damascus wasn't destroyed in a bomb in the beginning, but they're happening now. Yea, thou heardest not, thou knowest not, yea, from that time that in thine ear was not open. For I knew that thou wouldest deal very treacherously, and was called a transgressor from the womb. So as soon as Israel got out of Egypt, they sinned and worshipped another god and said that another god saved them out of Egypt. And that is the exact same thing that black people do here. So that's my point. I'm not hating on Cynthia. I'm just saying, if you're going to condemn the Bible, then you need to at least read what you're condemning. If you ain't going to believe in the Old Testament, then that means you believe in doing whatever's right in your own eyes, and that's a problem, because that's what they do here, you know. So you might as well be content with the treatment that you're getting here if you're not going to come up with an alternative to laws and the way we should be living. So that's my take on it. And all right, if you have any response to that, that's fine. Thanks.